Good evening, guys. It is our Paltrax Nordic Nerd, and today I am just gonna talk about another platform, a console rather, that I kind of like. Uh, Now, I mean, technically, I've kind of played on everything: PC, console, mobile, not so much, but I dabble. I will admit that I dabble. Now, yeah, primarily, if you're talking consoles, I'm primarily an Xbox guy. You know, Team Green and all that, but not as a yeah, I do play on everything. As you can, as I will, as you probably have seen, like my some stuff, like yeah, yeah. But at the moment, I'm gonna talk about the Switch, and I was not an early supporter of the Switch, not at all. I think I was hating. I think I was making some snarky comments about it, especially when it launched. So, yeah, so the launch lineup wasn't crazy in this, at least in my opinion. I guess a lot of so obviously, like, I know like one of the early sellers of the Switch was Breath of the Wild, which, I mean, that was made for the Wii U, for God's sakes, and that's just a port. And the Switch has since then gotten a lot of Wii U ports, which is kind of nice because, I mean, a lot of people didn't get to play those games because Switch performed because the Wii U performed so poorly. So, I mean, hey, if you give it some new life, why not? So I'm totally not a hater of that at all. Certainly not. Certainly not. The system itself, being this thing, this is sort of the not sort of the early one. I don't think, because there was sort of a small revision right before they did, like, the slim. Is it called the slim? Light. I think it's called the light, right? Sort of where it's one unit instead of disconnecting Joy-Cons now, and before, obviously, the OLED model. Sort of some way they tweaked some minor thing, but this, whatever. And yeah, so I like it. I gotta say that I do like it. It's a neat system. Not perfect. There are some flaws in it that I'm not crazy about. Like, one of its defining features being the whole Joy-Con stuff. They can sort of how you can sort of disconnect it and use it sort of separately. Put it on a table and use this as a controller, which they are, but you know what I mean. And then when you go back to playing it as sort of a handle, you use, right. Simple, easy. No one can fuck it up. Although apparently, in the early days, some people did fuck it up somehow. I'm not sure how. There was a big thing about it. It was really weird to watch. So yeah, being that it's gone back to cartridges, that's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. To be quite honest with you, like, sort of tiny little cartridges. Yeah, No More Heroes 1. That's the one that's in the system at the moment. But yeah, like cartridges, like I do think that there are benefits to it, certainly. But I mean, because when we have like handheld stuff, we have some stuff. We have stuff like, oh, you just digitally, download it off the store and play it that way. That's sort of one way, and then you have sort of the UMDs that the PSP used, which had its own set of problems, but I don't know. And I think the Vita used something similar to this. I suppose tiny cartridges, but the Vita had its own set of issues. What are you gonna do? But yeah, like, I mean, it's simple enough, and it seems like the Switch has truly now become sort of very mainstream. Like, maybe it's because of the brand recognition that Nintendo has these days, that they could sell ice to Eskimos and all that kind of stuff, But whatever, it is what it is. Now, some obviously they do sell like different Joy-Cons later, like in different colors. There are grips, which I'm gonna get eventually now, because this is. I don't have massive hands. Let's be real. I mean, kind of. Supposed to be real. I don't have long fingers. I have a sort of claw hand. This is, and I do primarily play it in handheld mode. Even though the sort of the docking mode is very convenient, I would totally use it sometimes. Though I don't think you get the proper, like, you put it on the screen and you sort of mentally expect it to run like an Xbox or something. It just doesn't. So that's really, you can't just take this and blows it up on the TV. So that's some limitations there, certainly. But yeah, let's talk about some of the things like this little handy contraption that came in the box for me. I think that later they might have taken this out of the box and sort of sold it separately. At least I know you can buy it separately. I did use this for like a very long time when I was actually using the whole dock system, and I don't particularly like it. Like, it's fine. It's sort of like a for when, until you have a proper, like, just a regular pro controller or whatever what you want to call this, this will suit you. It is not a permanent solution by any means, because I mean, size-wise is decent enough, right? I mean, it is smaller than my hands, right? So this is not ideal in that sense, but more so than anything, like, the way it's connected, for me, it gets out of sync very easily for no particular reason, and it's very, very easy to sort of mess up, from my experience. So I don't really use it anymore, as I did get a proper controller for it. But that was sort of a stand-in, or until you got into that point, sure. This is just hollow plastic basically as well, except for those connectors. This is just hollow plastic. So, but it works. It's fine. But yeah, not a permanent solution by any means. This is obviously what I'll be using these days. This is the Pro Control. This was, I mean, it's similar enough to an Xbox controller with sort of the asymmetric sticks. It's sort of down there, sort of up, sort of this is up here instead of here. Sort of like more, which would be more similar to something like a PlayStation controller. And I don't. It's interesting because, like, Xbox does this, and then Sony does this. And you also have that D-pad there, and like, what you prefer, I guess, might be highly subjective at this point. But it's kind of interesting. It's interesting to see the different approaches from those two companies. Also, they are like recessed. Is that the word? Like, it doesn't sort of doesn't get that sort of like bulky. I have a DualShock somewhere. I know. But sort of like, so the grips and all that kind of stuff. Like, but the PlayStation controllers are, at least in my experience, they're very slippery. This is too close for me anyway, so meh. Also, the buttons are not as maybe you can hear it. They're very quiet. They're very sort of shallow travel there. Maybe I'm not like, because I really do enjoy the Xbox controller in general. I haven't like drastically sort of developed over time. They sort of got to a good place, and then they kind of just like, let's just refine it. No need to radically advance it, just not necessary. But yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, the A and B button being reversed is gonna still, probably to the day I die, gonna annoy the hell out of me. It's like, because I don't know, no, A stand there and B is up there. This you can't, unless you buy like a console from like Japan or something, which will be sort of, this whole thing is just mind fucks you. It's really weird, but yeah, there you go. Now, so for myself, because you wanna keep it safe, right? You wanna buy cases, as people do. Jesus. And there are many, a lot of options in all different price points and all different sales scales, types, and persuasions, and configuration, and all that other jazz. Now, I kind of want to be on brand, so I bought this thing, the Mario one, and it's meant to look like metal, but it's not really. Maybe this is aluminum at best. But, it looks nice, it's securely nice, it's not terribly big, or terribly, and it kind of holds a few cards in there, not that many. I've seen some people that will hold just shit tons, and some that are super big to even fit with the grip on. That's pretty cool. All definitely sort of options for the future, I will say that. But that's kind of that. Again, solid. Not really any give, except for that where the zippers are. Yeah, like it's sort of like hard in the inside. So this is official as well. This is like first party accessory, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that's pretty good. Now, you would think that at this point I would have like a whole shit ton of games, and I actually don't. I actually don't. I have some, but like I said, like Switch isn't my primary platform. They're usually always that sort of a second or even a third sort of option, because there are oftentimes there are just too many sort of drawbacks to it, like playing sort of like the new hotness on it. But this is in terms of a third party. Like the new game is always gonna run like complete ass, as it is essentially just a beefed up, just a juiced up tablet, right? So there you go. And also, I'm a huge sort of physical game guy, so I will prefer to buy it. And I do know that sometimes those digital releases will be kind of fun, and they will sort of appeal to that audience probably more than a lot. So that's that. But I'm gonna show you a few games. I mean, a few games. This is literally my entire games collection at the moment. So hey, let's start with. Let's go early. Let's go early, right? Let's see. I think it was this. No, it was this. And this and this. Yeah, this is literally like the order of which they were purchased. Hyrule Warriors. This game I actually do own it on Wii U. Not as definitive edition, but this particular game. Kind of fun, because like Nintendo rarely, at least they used to, rarely they wanted any other company to fuck with their IP, like at all. I know they have some bad history with that, so I totally, at least it's somewhat justified. But I do get, because it's that, I mean, Zelda in any capacity is like one of their crown jewels. But like, yeah, Metroid is like, yeah, you can sort of have Metroid, but like Zelda is like, it will come to your house and kill you if you do if you fuck it up, because hey, history and all that. But yeah, just being a this is the format. The box is sort of a slimmer, smaller case. The red with the red spine and the white letters. It is sort of uniform, and sort of every game will be like this. So I do appreciate the consistency. It is similar to stuff like the Xbox One, where that came in, because that had the gray spine and the white letters usually, but now it's sort of, sometimes they will kind of fuck with the font a little bit, and sometimes they won't. It's much like the old PS4 when that came out. They would sometimes have the artwork sort of go around the sides, and then the spine would look really nice, and then some people just be like, fuck it, white spine, black letters, done. Inconsistent is incredibly annoying if you're a physical guy. But this is as you probably already know at this point, it's basically a Dynasty Warriors game with the Zelda skin. And it works. I mean, you want to play as Link and then fuck up a million people? Cool. It works. Okay, this is kind of sad though. Not even a manual, like goddamn. But hey, they do sometimes put some cool artwork on the inside. That's kind of nice, in my opinion. So it is sort of like a the European one, the PEGI rating. As I do live in Europe. This is like sort of a yeah, it is the Wii U game, but with some addition stuff. So Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja, yeah, yeah. The next thing I think that I've probably at this point probably spent the most time on so far is probably Dragon Quest Builders, and I mean, because I do like the whole survival crafting game genre, if that even is a thing. I don't know what, because that it's at least at some point was very popular. Minecraft and Rust and Ark and Conan Exiles and what have you. So it is very much. This is a lot more sort of kinder to that whole genre though, because it's not as punishing. It's very eases you into it, but also it uses the Dragon Quest IP artwork from Akira Toriyama. That's noticeable as all hell. And yeah, it's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. Yeah. Obviously, this has a reversible cover. If you sort of want to use sort of the more sort of game sort of CGI artwork on it. But I kind of like, because I am a huge fan of Toriyama, so I kind of want his art style on the box. That looks cool. I mean, yeah. That's that. Next one will be, I mean, of course, it's a Nintendo console. You know what's coming. Pokemans. Brilliant Diamond. This game is I have a conflicting opinion on this. I guess you could say, because I did buy Diamond on DS together with the DS Lite when it came out, because I was there launch day for this, at least in the UK. That's where I bought it, and people went ham on people. I saw people buy Diamond and Pearl and the guide. Like, it was wild. But yeah, this is it's sort of like it's nice in a vacuum, or sort of isolated. Like if you just look at this game and forget that this is supposed to be a remake, and that this also came like after like Sword and Shield, it's fine. It's fine. Like, but then you sort of compare it to sort of mainline game. You can, like, the art style is very different. There's a lot more sort of chibi look, which is bizarre. But sort of like, it's almost like if you compare it directly to the DS game, it doesn't look that bad. Then it kind of looks very similar to that. But like, sort of people expected like a full-on 3D super mega blah, game to be massive. They didn't want the chibi looks, which is understandable. And of course, there's some content missing here as well. So, but I don't know. This just wasn't what people wanted. I mean, this inside is awesome though. Like, this is the entire region, I believe. Like, this is the Sinnoh region, right? And the entire thing on the inside. That's cool, And then some advertisement for Legends and the cards, which are still in print after all these years. That's cool. I mean, it's fine. It's just not what people wanted. So, yeah. The next one would probably be something like Stardew Valley. I have not played this on Switch that much, mostly because I do own it on PC, and that's where I sort of mostly play it. This was, at least initially, this was bought because I wanted to own a physical copy, because I don't trust I don't trust Steam, because like, what happens if Steam has problems? I can't play my games, so I'm not gonna, And like, Steam isn't as dominant as it used to be. Like, the Epic Game Store is sort of a competing store now. So it's like, before it used to be like, oh yeah, no one can touch Steam. Steam can be there forever. It can do whatever it wants because it's sort of the king of the hill type of stuff. But now it has competition, and now it's actually a battle for the consumers. So I hope they kind of figure it out. But yeah, I do love the game. I will actually fully admit it. I love Stardew Valley. I have like a lot of hours, at least on my third year, on my third or fourth year on my PC version, and it's fun. Yeah, I am very glad. This is sort of became sort of an indie darling at the time as well. One dude made this game. Like, insane. Yeah, same situation. Blue spine, white letters. Again, like if you put it on a shelf, it looks kind of boring. I will say that, but it does look consistent. There's no like red pen, and there's like green, sparkly, super. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's like it's consistent, but boring potentially, right? So I mean, depending on how you look at that, the latest acquisition, as you will, is, I mean, spoiler. You already saw it. I mean, not spoiler, but no shocker. You already saw this. Jesus Christ! This is not scripted, as you haven't. If you haven't noticed any of my stuff, I have no notes, no script, no thoughts, just pulling shit out of my ass and just very little planning. But yeah, no more heroes. I am a late. I'm very much a sort of Johnny come lately. No point intended, because it's, yeah. Travis touchdown. Haha. Yeah. No. Limited Run published this game. This is the first one technically, and obviously this was originally a Wii game. One of the few sort of hardcore games on Wii on Wii. There was not many of those, but they did exist. The sequel is also got a Switch port. That's cool. Obviously, the third one is also on Switch, but because again, I wanted the physical version. I'm not gonna buy a Wii. I used to own a Wii at some point, but like I packed away my Wii U even like years ago. Like I don't, But yeah, like at this point, like I kind of hope that because like 1 and 2 and obviously 3 is also on Steam, right? So basically, 1 and 2 without the motion controls exist out there, and it's on PC. I mean, why isn't 1 and 2 on PS4 and Xbox One yet? Xbox Series or whatever, right? Why not? Surely this should make sense. The third one is on Xbox. There's some like maybe like 2 was on 360, but only in Japan or some like weird shit, and it went like absolute ass for no particular reason. But yeah, Grasshopper, maker of all kinds of weird shit. Suda 51 is a madman. Oh, look at this, a tiny manual in full color too. Like, appreciate it when you get it, folks. That's all I'm gonna say. Appreciate it when you get it, because it's not gonna be all the time. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, Santa Destroy, and it doesn't. Yeah. But like I said, Limited Run did this version. I got it from a store that I guess bought it from Limited Run. So I guess the stores can come in and buy a sort of unit themselves. That's a the whole pre-order Limited Run stuff. Like obviously Limited Run, as a side note, has gotten some flack in later years for that kind of stuff. Like it is a bit sort of sketchy now. Like it's a bit harder to defend them these days. But yeah, as a sort of because of the people were like not that long ago, people were sort of people were damn near like expecting like, oh yeah, the Switch Pro is right around the corner. Like they're gonna come out, it's gonna be like the same what you love, but it's gonna be like fucking 8K. It's gonna have more RAM, faster processor, fucking all the kind of stuff. No, didn't know you're not gonna get that because like this fucking thing is already selling like fucking crack, right? Like Nintendo has no reason to do it. And now obviously and then you got what you actually got was the Switch OLED, which is a nicer Switch, nicer screen, and some tweaks to the dock, but generally it's a Switch, right? Now, being that I won't call myself like the customer for Switch, like if they want to set up some sort of like service, like hey, features you would like on your next Switch. Or if it even going to use the same name, I think it will. I do think the brand is like solidified now. It's like they're gonna keep it for now. Game Boy was also a very solid brand until the DS came around. So hey, who can know what the fuck Nintendo is up to? As sort of ideas, if you want my ideas, I mean, just like just a slim, just like proper like translation, like faster, better, more advanced. This will be probably be fine as long as the games keep pumping out. Like one thing though that I would sort of would like needs to be somehow fixed is like this thing. Can you hear that shit? Maybe can right? Like you can tell me that this locking mechanism can be more secure. This is really weird to me. Like so maybe so because obviously like if you didn't want this, just get a light, as you probably would tell me, just get a light. Yeah, but I do like the option of having the dock there. So like, but yeah, maybe making the screen sort of having the Joy-Cons be one piece, but then that wouldn't work either. I don't know. So that would be sort of my initial thought, just having the Joy-Con be one piece, and then sort of slide the screen in to sort of one thing. Or just like, I mean, they could. Don't tell me that they couldn't like put some money into R&D and make like sort of a docking system be like super tight. This is just like not great. So it's like they obviously are, even now there are talks of like Joy-Con drifting and all that kind of stuff. Like this is not the most secure design. It's cool because you can be like, oh yeah, click, and then you can sort of, put them like thing out and then be like, oh yeah, just like the advertisement. You can be like, do, right? It's cool. And then when you're done, just done, right? This is great. I think Nintendo has did learn a lot from the Wii U. Definitely learned a lot from the Wii U, but it's still like, yeah, like it's simple enough, And now you obviously see stuff like this, the Steam Deck and similar sort of form factors. They're sort of clearly aiming at this, just being like, put your PC games in your hand. Whoa, But also, this is like, I think it's a solid enough like first like iteration if we want. This is clearly a first generation product. I feel even the OLED is a first generation product. I feel it's a revision certainly, but it is a first sort of generation thing. Like the Switch 2, whenever that drops, which I don't think is gonna be anytime soon. I know people are gonna say this like, oh yeah, they're gonna Switch 2 is coming out like in like a year, totally. Like maybe, but I wouldn't put money on it personally. But hey, that's my opinion. As for the online stuff, I haven't joined that whole thing. I just won't. Even though, like, oh yeah, if you do it, you get access to all of his old Nintendo games, which is BS. Because I mean, the 3DS and the Wii U, you could buy like old games on it, and you don't have to pay any extra. That's weird, in my opinion. Shouldn't you just be able to buy it? I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. But yeah. As for the future, will I keep buying games? Will I keep investing in this platform? I do think I will, probably. In what form though? I'm not entirely sure. Like, will I like? Am I gonna get? Am I gonna get an OLED? Yeah, probably not. Would I get a Switch 2? Maybe. More likely, certainly. But because I don't want to buy like the revision. I want to jump. I want to get the good sort of leap in tech and specs and all that kind of stuff. I want it to be better, not just like. Because I mean, Nintendo got me once, man. You're not gonna get me twice. I bought a 3DS and a new 3DS. They got me one, yeah. What are you gonna do? It's hey, the new 3DS is a pretty good system, but like, there's very few games I take advantage of that. It's just that slight jump in juice, like, yeah. It's unfortunate, but there you go. But yeah, my opinions on the Switch as I see it at the moment. Yeah, that's gonna be it. If you watched it, cool. If you like me, whatever. if you if no one's ever sees this, we gotta be perfectly fine with it. Like this is not doesn't matter. Like I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. I'm just like sharing. This is literally just like YouTube to me. It's just sharing a hobby. You know, back in the old back in the old days. Which why I can say fuck, 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 shit, shit, fuck, fuck, without getting demonetized. Cause yeah, fuck it. Anywho, thank you for watching. If you did, cool. If you didn't, oh well. See you guys later.